Hello everyone. Today is a wonderful day in Seoul, South Korea, and welcome to my studio apartment. And today I want to maybe share some details, share some advice, and share some advice specifically about litter. A lot of people don't think about litter, but it's a very, very important part of your cat because they need to go to the bathroom. And in a perfect world, your cat would go to the litter box with no issues, and they would do their business and walk out slowly from the litter box without spreading around sand or whatever is in the litter box at that time. Anybody that's dealt with cats before, usually, they know cats will do their business, but they won't walk out. They're gonna run out as fast as they can. And during that process, litter does get picked up from the litter box and it spreads to around the house, right? So what can you do? So today I'm just gonna give you 3 or 4 steps that I think is important to think about when you are living with multiple cats and when you're thinking about having cats in your studio apartment. The first tip is to definitely do not use sand-based litter. Do not use the clumping litter. Don't use sand, tofu. Don't use other types of clay-based litter, like even the round rolly ones. They're a bit more helpful, but anything clay-based, anything clumping is going to tend to want, the cats are gonna spread it all over the place. The finer the litter type, the more it tracks. Why? Because as your cats go to the litter box, it gets stuck underneath their paws, right? And then as they walk around, it starts coming off little by little. So how do we solve this? Use larger litter types, pellets. All of these have their pros and cons. Right now I am using pine pellets, and pine pellets are actually the best litter type I've ever used. I'm gonna make a separate video on pine pellets in particular. However, simply it separates the good litter from the bad litter. Bad litter being the already soiled litter. So it separates the good litter on top and the bad litter on the bottom, and so you can just get rid of the urine soiled litter as it dissolves, and then scoop out whatever solid waste there is on top, and then you're finished. It lasts for a long time. It actually has better scent, scent repellent, scent fighting, scent. Anyways, it doesn't smell as bad as tofu. It doesn't smell as bad as other things like pellets, and it's only a little bit worse than clumping litter. However, it's actually over time, the pine pellets actually cover the smell quite well, surprisingly, and it has a very nice woody scent to it. So I would definitely recommend pine litter. No questions asked. In a studio apartment, get pine litter. If you're gonna get a cat and it's a kitten and it's still learning what to do, start it off. Don't get sand litter. Start it off immediately with pine litter. If you don't, then you can transition it slowly. Again, I've written a huge article, pretty comprehensive article on my website. So if you want to do that, take the time to sort of read about it. And if you have any other questions, leave it down in the comments. The second tip I would give you is take a look around your apartment. Take a look if there's any sort of like self-contained area, any ledges or any places where there's there's a little bit of a enclosure, and place your litter box inside that enclosure, because whatever sand comes out, it gets blocked by the ledge or the containment, so it doesn't spread around everywhere. So for example, here in Korea we have a shoe sort of section right before any guests come in. They take off their shoes by the front of the door, and that place has a small ledge. So I put my litter box there. Any litter that comes out of that ledge it hits that, I mean, any litter that comes out of that box, it hits the ledge, and then it's just easily contained. Sweep it up, and then put it back into the litter box if it isn't like too dirty or something, or throw it out in the trash, right? So again, you have to really think about the layout and what sort of things are available in your room. Like I've heard people use cabinets as their enclosure, so they maybe cut a hole in the cabinet. I wouldn't do that. It's a bit too much work, and I don't have the tools to do it. But if I was desperate enough, which some people are about litter, I would do it. Another thing is if you have adult cats, it'd be easy to actually have a very large storage container and then put the litter box inside the storage container. So, you know, the cats jump inside the storage container, they do their business, and then they have to jump back outside. They can kick as much as they want, and then the litter is still contained within that storage container. And then it's simply a matter of dumping it out at the end of the week or whatever. So that would be number 2, right? Contain your litter box. Have a litter area in which you can contain it. Number 3, nowadays there is a lot of different types of litter boxes. If you search on Amazon or online, there's very, very creative designs for litter box actually. And different ones have different sort of litter tracking features built into them, right? So some litter boxes, the cats have to, again, jump in from the top. This is great for adult cats and healthy cats. However, this can be a problem for handicapped cats or really young kittens that they can't like jump inside, right? But these top entry litter boxes have sort of like grates on them. So they can jump on top of the grate, the litter falls into the grooves, and then the cats jump off of it. It's sometimes hit or miss, but in general, from my experience, it works. When I was using clumping litter, it worked pretty well. And yeah, the cats enjoyed the top entry litter box. There's many other types of litter boxes, like some have mazes the cats has to go through. Yeah, and then as they go through the maze to find their litter box, the litter drops off into these grooves. Yeah, it's actually pretty creative, the people that are creating these things, because they know, you know, litter tracking is incredibly annoying to clean up. The litter box I have now is specifically made for pellets, pine pellets, and it has a hood, right? And this hood sort of contains the pellets within the litter box. But it's flexible. If a cat is recently spayed or neutered, he'll have the cone, right? So a lot of cats, they have problems going inside the litter box if it has a hood. So the hood can just be pulled back and it's easy entry for a lot of cats and kittens as well. If you think about litter box design, instead of getting your regular just litter box, it can be a good idea because yeah, there's lots of creative ones out there. But again, I would totally recommend you to first try pine litter, get the hooded litter box for the pine litter, and then if your cats definitely if your cats hate pine litter and starts pooping, I wanted to say the S word, but they start pooping all over your place and they're angry and and if there's nothing else you can do, then yes, get the different design types of litter boxes with the litter tracking prevention features built in. That's what I would say. Another thing I would mention is using some other litter trapping tools, such as litter trapping mats. And if you've seen my other videos, I have quite a big litter tracking mat right under my litter box, right? And what it does is pretty simply, the cats walk outside or they kick or whatever, and the litter you know, if it comes out, it drops into the little holes and grooves within the litter mat, right? So it doesn't allow the litter to keep banging around, you know, flying around everywhere. So it's there in one spot so that you can maybe like pick it up or like dump it out at the end of the week easily. That's another option. It doesn't work so well for clumping litter sand because again it does get stuck in the cat's paws. And again, you know, don't use clumping litter is what I'm trying to say, or don't use sand litter. You know, pine litter is probably the best option for studio apartments. Honorable mention, I'm not gonna say go out and buy a robotic vacuum, but if you're using sand litter, go buy a robotic automatic vacuum, because again, it gets everywhere. You have to vacuum every day, so at least have a robot do it for you. It's a little bit expensive, but it really saves you time. For pine litter, it's almost to the point where I don't need my robotic vacuum to go every day. In the past, and sand was everywhere, you better believe I would turn on that vacuum every time I would leave for work. So, but now it's like every 2 or 3 days that I need to turn it on just to pick up cat hair, because pine litter does not track. It doesn't spread. So again, get pine litter. How much can I say? How much can I say it in this video? But it'll save you so much time, especially in a studio apartment. Anyways, that's it for my tips for how to control litter tracking. It's something I battled with every day in the past, but now it's gotten a lot better, and I'm very satisfied with how pine litter is in studio apartments, because again, I have 4 cats, 2 litter boxes, and I need my space to be clean and not sandy. Okay, so I hope these tips helped. If you have any questions, again, I recommend, I'd encourage you to ask it. I'll try to answer your questions to the best of my abilities. My website has a lot of these articles already. It has the pine litter article, why it's probably the best, and it has, you know, again, these tips of how to control litter tracking a little bit more into detail if you like. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.